All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as you're looking at in this market right now is a 7% dip over the 24 hours on Bitcoin, which is pretty, that's a pretty solid chunk for a single 24-hour dip when it comes to the Bitcoin charts. So what can we expect? Should you be buying the dip? What is the psychology that you should be, putting into your investments at this moment in time? We'll go over whether or not this dip is going to continue. And even if it does, why you should be unwavering in your conviction and be focused on the long term to let these things materialize. So we'll go over that and more in this edition. Without further ado, let's get in the game. All right. And as always, guys, like the video and subscribe for more every single day here on In the Game. We are live here 3-4 times a week. We have AMAs. We give you all the alpha across the crypto gaming markets. So like and subscribe. And a quick shout out to all of our sponsors here on In the Game. We have 𝗬𝗂𝗋. We have Amino Rewards, DreamQuest. We have @RealFever/Organya. Shout out to them for their game launch as well. Owned.gg with the $1 Million Games League. We have XCAD Network. And then last but not least, we have Owned.gg and 𝗫𝗏𝗏, one of the biggest GambleFi projects in the space. So let's jump into the show. And if you're interested, you can check out our sponsors in the link down below in the description. So everyone's panicking right now. Every single person is panicking in this market as we see 40K Bitcoin. And, it's interesting that people are completely freaking out about this at this moment in time. Like just a few $1,000 pullback on Bitcoin is pretty severe in a short-term time period. But at the same time, when Bitcoin's done a 2.5x this year, there's nothing really that you should be worried about. Jerry's comment there is pretty funny in the chat box, I have to say. But, people are freaking out. And now they're like, is this market over? Is this the time we pack it up? Do we go and sell everything? But at the end of the day, like our positions are still very much in the green. Like, I see someone in the chat saying, I give alpha after pumps. I think plenty of people here know that we literally called all these tokens way before anyone else in this market. I can tell you that for sure. But let's dive into it. Like people are freaking out in this market. But when you look across the board, we are still looking at, Avalanche is up 65% just this week. 𝗬𝗂𝗋 up 44% on the week. Beam up 40% on the week. IMX up 40% on the week. So what we're seeing is a normal correction. Like at some point in time, people are going to sell positions, take profits. The market's going to take some tumultuous turns. It's not just going to be up only heading into this next market. And typically speaking, the pre-halving, this type of activity happens. There's a little bit of a run, but there's a little bit of a correction and a pullback. And I don't see anything that's unhealthy with this. We've been absolutely bullish for the past 2.5 months. And everyone was looking for a dip, right? Elio, like he genuinely thought this morning, he says, finally a dip. And that's true. Like at the end of the day, people are getting upset when their positions have 7x instead of 10x or whatever the case may be. So yeah, people are like panic. I remember my first bull market, all chill, buy good dips. So yeah, like I'm really just wanting to, at the end of the day, bring the message that you should be focused on 2025. You should be focused on the long term, those bottoms that we scooped up on the S funds, on all these different projects that we've been giving you guys over the course of this bear. When we entered on these things, I'm not looking for a 2, 3, 4x in the short term. I'm looking for the bigger picture gains. When we see market caps unjustified once again, when we see Bitcoin go to the new all-time high, we see that ETF approval, next cycle starts, we get past the halving, etc. Like I'm looking for those long-term wins, but those came out of the bear market when we planted those seeds and we actually got in on those positions. You can't rush the harvest, okay? You can't rush the harvest. So what should you be doing in this market right now? First and foremost, if you haven't freaking taken some profits off this market, it never hurts to do so. Over this time period, we've talked about it a million times. Sure, and like I said, I'm looking towards 2025, end of 2024 for those huge gains. But at the same time, yeah, and like 1123 says during Bitcoin 15K to 30K, those will make millionaires in 2025. I absolutely agree. G Bain says, Johnny, you give me more conviction because I know you're a full blown. Literally, my entire life is crypto. You are correct. Everything I do in business is in this industry. So, you know, when you're in the trenches every single day, you know that you're investing for 2025. So at the end of the day, let's say you got in on 𝗓𝗓 50 cents, 50 cents, and it's 360 now. And maybe you're like, okay, is this pullback real? Is this pullback going to, you know, wipe out my positions, or I'm going to take, you know, I'm going to take a hit on my portfolio? Well, you know, then take a little bit of profits. No one is going to shun you for that. This is a player versus player industry. Like, it's you versus the next investor versus the guy in front of you. So it's just, people freak out about this. They're like, oh, you took profits too early. Crypto's like this shame game. Either you didn't invest in the right project and they'll shun you for missing X's, or they'll shun you for taking profits and missing potential X's. So basically, like, really the memo is, don't get shaken out on these dips. We've caught some great entries on these things, and I've taken some profits off the top of some of these things when they 5x, when they 10x, when you 15x. Yeah, your risk is someone's profit. That's the gain, or that's the game. It is. I mean, you know, this is really, it's a cutthroat game. And if you're not going to be protecting your downside during these time periods, then that's probably going to lead to a little more stress, a little more sleepless nights. Whereas all you really need to do, as the equalizer just said, sell a percentage of your bag and then ride the rest up. Take profits to buy the dips through 2025. Exactly, as Jerry says. So what are some of those things in the market? And first of all, I want to give a shout out. I mean, we were out at Art Basel this week here in Miami. Some great times. And I was with the Shrapnel team. I was with a bunch of content creators in the industry. Like, Web3 gaming is in a better space than it's ever been before. I'm more bullish on the future of this industry than I've ever been, especially being around some of the projects that I think are truly leading the space. So that was good this weekend. I did get a lot of alpha that I can't really share, but they'll come to light here very soon. So what are some of the dips that you should potentially be scooping up? You know, perfect segue. I see Christian asks, what is my current sentiment on Shrap after Basel? So right now, after Basel, I couldn't be more bullish. I mean, yes, Christian, they do have their soft launch coming up this month. And this is one that I was going to kind of point out here. So there are no unlocks. There are no unlocks until April. So people always freak out about the market cap differentials, etc. But if you look at the unlock schedule here, in April, the first tokens are going to start getting unlocked. I think that this has the potential to do a legitimate big time run on this next leg up. The all-time high got up to about 44 cents. And then it's now, I mean, it's taken almost a 25% dip since that time period. It's back under $1 billion fully diluted, whereas big time is 3 billion on the fully diluted market cap. So I think this does have room to run and is something to definitely take a look at. If you're looking in the GambleFi space, you know, the GambleFi sector hasn't really heated up as much. You know, it's gotten hot because Becker started talking about it. So some people were all over Twitter talking about, you know, GambleFi. But at the same time, like, Rollbit has done absolutely nothing in this market, down 33%. And then there's low-hanging fruit out there like Winter Protocol. It's taking a dip right now because there is a token unlock coming. But it feels like it's getting front ran. Like, people are scared of the unlock, so they are front running it and they are selling these tokens. So I think this entry, like right here on this entry point at Winter Protocol, I think this is a really good undervalued GambleFi play. Obviously, Rollbit is like the, I don't know, the big you know, the big player in the space, but I'm looking for the bigger gains. I'm looking for the Winter Protocol, those lower market cap things. I see a comment. I'm the Wish version of Becker. Well, I'm here 24/7, 365. And I mean, Becker comes through the door after 30K, and he's the crypto gaming god. So whatever the case may be, it's ridiculous. Okay. Hustle says, I've got the alpha, but I can't tell you. You can be their exit liquidity, but you are late if you hear it here. Well, no, it's like legitimately stuff that like I can't disclose. Like it's stuff that I heard, stuff that's going on in the market, but I can't disclose it. Like if the project is going to tell me literally to not say anything about it, then I'm not going to say anything about it. Like then I'm not going to get the information. But I'm here telling you, I'm in Miami, and Art Basel just went down, and I was with the Shrapnel team. And then I mentioned that I think it's going to take a huge run. So put the pieces together. You could probably see where that alpha falls into. Okay. That's exactly what I'm going to leave it at, to be completely honest. But this isn't like the show today. I'm not going to give you 50 coins to buy. I think that Winter Protocol is a good one today because it's down 20%. And at this point in time, people are just front running a token unlock. But when that happens, usually it's just going to bounce back, and it's going to rip after that token unlock, in my opinion, because people already are having that sell pressure expecting a dip. But I think this is going to be the dip there. I think Veracity is still a fantastic DCA. It hasn't really moved in this market either. And I do think, I do think it will come back around. Phantasma is probably a sleeping giant. It also has not been, moving as much as other projects out there. When you look at it, I mean, Senate's down 15% over the 24 hours. This is going to be used in the 𝗬𝗏 Launchpad, for example. People are really buzzing about 𝗬𝗏, GMEE. This is a good project. I'm just concerned that it's pumped so much from the bottom already. It's done like a 15x from the bottom. So definitely be careful there. A new one that I think has a lot of potential, Inspect. This is a pretty good one. I think that you're going to see this all across YouTube, all across Twitter. A lot of big KOLs are involved in that one. So I think Inspect could be a potential good play at this circulating market cap as well. I do like G-Swift. I've seen it a lot in the chat today. So, today's sentiment, like I said, today's show, I'm not really here to tell you what to buy. And no matter what happens, you should never take anyone's word for bond, whoever it is. It doesn't matter who, right? We've been making tons of gains in this market, but on a pullback like this, I'm just going to top up some of my positions whenever they dip. And that's my method. That's how I'm going to keep winning in this market. And as of today, like I saw a good tweet out there. Today is not the day to be looking at shiny new toys. It's the day to be topping up your bags that have taken a dip. So today we're not going to look at shiny new toys, but really just focus on the fact that Web3 gaming, the way that this is materializing, this will be one of the biggest sectors in the space in 2024, 2025. So once we get there, you want to be prepared. So shiny object syndrome's cool. All these little small projects that could do stupid pumps, but I don't really care about that. Like I care about stacking up on the projects that I know are here to stay and are going to be just completely on top of the market whenever we get to 2024, 2025. We're not here to force feed you tokens. And that's the thing. Like I'm not going to give you crap tokens to go invest in every single day. On this dip, I'm going to load up the positions that we have been discussing. So that's just how I'm playing it. Like I said, I would look at Winter Protocol today. Veracity, I think Senate, if you're looking at the 𝗬𝗏 Launchpad at a 25 million market cap, pretty good dip to scoop up there. Rollbit's been lagging behind the market for quite a long time. And I think Shrapnel. I think Shrapnel is the play right now, honestly, because everything that I heard at Basel this week, what's around the corner from their team, their devs, etc. I couldn't be more excited. Once it hits early launch, we saw what happened with the big time token. That momentum just kept compounding. And I think we're going to see the exact same thing. And then a call to action for a few different things. I agree, Triangle. Senate is crazy undervalued compared to 𝗬𝗏. Yeah, the market cap differentials are definitely crazy. Like I see 𝗬𝗏 as a huge play to catch up to that market cap. It might not ever catch up, but I think that gap should be much closer at the moment. And Verdam T23 says, I buy every Shrap dip at the moment. Yeah, I think it's a good accumulation, especially up until April. Up until April, whenever those token unlocks come through the door. Honeyland. Yeah, I saw Honeyland did take a little bit of a dip, But let's see, where's it at here? I'm very bullish on Honeyland. They're one of the most popular mobile apps in all of Web3 gaming, and I think that they're going to make it out of this cycle and make it out of this bear market. They were built in the bear. I think they're going to really prosper in the bull run for sure. Web3Me says there's a lot of projects struggling to move from the last cycle. Yeah, like there's only been a few. Like Gala's been moving, Vulcan Forge has been moving. Stuff like 𝗬𝗏𝗃 has been moving. Illuvium took a big run, but it's been stuck around $100. Citus and Senate have done well. Altura has done really well. So there are examples of old cycle projects that are still, doing well in the market. But it's definitely sometimes some of these freaking tokens definitely lag. Like Ultra's been lagging and Veracity's been lagging. So it's interesting to see if that'll kind of take a turn and maybe see those get a little bit of love and liquidity in the market. Let's see. We got a couple more things to cover here, guys, and then I will answer a few chat box questions because, like I said, today's a buy the dip day, in my opinion. If you see an entry out there that you feel like you missed, take advantage of it at this point in time. I don't think this run is over to give the, to give the premise on the market. I really think there's so many more opportunities to take advantage of in the short term. But play for the long term. And then in the short term, if those bags materialize, take some profits and then reposition. That's exactly what you need to do to win in this market. And then this week, there's some things to take a look out for. The Overworld Mint, I think this is going to be crazy. I think if you can get your hands on the Overworld Mint, that this is going to be one of the best performing gaming mints of the year. Now, it's not a free mint. So if it goes from free to 0.7, that's a 70x in price. So this is probably not going to do a 70x from 0.15. But I think for dang sure, you can count on, if you have the whitelist on Overworld, they're oversubscribed on it, but this is going to rip whenever it hits the markets. This comes with a token airdrop for the Overworld token. So definitely look out for this. I think this is going to be the talk of NFT Twitter this week. Aether Games, we talked about this one on the top 10 upcoming tokens in 2024. They are getting ready to launch their token. They're doing some pretty cool stuff behind the scenes for this token launch. So this is definitely one to take a look out for. And for the Solana gamers out there, this one right here, backed by Arthur Hayes and backed by Solana themselves, Mixmob, they've been building for a while. They also have a live racing game. This is on the Solana chain. Their NFTs have 100%ed in the last week because the token's coming out. So now there's a lot of speculation about this token. So maybe one to keep your eyes out for a new Solana gaming ecosystem token. So those are some call to actions that you can take a look at this week while we're topping up our positions, right? I'm looking to top up my portfolio. And we gave y'all a couple plays there, but today's not the day where I'm going to be like really scattering and like, where should I be looking? I'm going to consolidate it. I'm going to DCA into the stuff that I know is quality. Web3Me says, nice drop with the Mixmob. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the token. I think that it's, I definitely think it's going to do well. I know a lot of the stuff that they're doing behind the scenes as well. And the people that they have on board to kind of help them with this thing. So I'm looking at Mixmob to be a pretty good play. That's one we haven't talked about here before. So I will definitely talk about this more as the token ramps up. I know it's launching at a pretty low market cap, so I'm excited about this for sure. And then let's chat about a sponsor really quickly before we get into the chat box questions. So Dreams Quest is one of our newer sponsors here on the channel, and like I said, like they've been building throughout this market. I think that it's something worth noting. Like you see that they're doing the cross-chain NFT swapping, which I think is pretty cool. So imagine you like Avalanche, someone else likes IMX, someone else likes Ethereum. Well, you can participate on any given chain that you choose in their ecosystem. So that's something that I think is very much needed in the space. It's like if you wanted to play on an Xbox, a PlayStation, or a PC, they're giving you that option with these cross-chain NFT swaps. So that is definitely cool because you'll be able to, it's like trading Pokemon cards between any EVM chain would be like the example. So that's pretty cool that you can bridge your assets there between the ecosystem on different chains. And the gameplay is coming along. Like, you know, they've been building throughout this bear market. So check out Dreams Quest in the description down below. And shout out to them. And, you know, check out their YouTube page for some gameplay. Check out their Twitter. Give them a follow there, because I think that it would surprise you the things that they have up their sleeve based on what we've heard since they came on as a sponsor. All right, guys. Let's see. Back to watch list here, and let's take some questions before we close this thing out. I'll give you know, any tokens that you guys are looking at, whether you should be buying that dip. Web3Me says reasons not to like WAGMI or how it's advertised and marketed. Looks the same as last cycle. Terrible tokenomics, no liquidity, near its high. Yeah. So like, it's definitely like, I actually don't think the tokenomics are that bad. I think in the mobile market, they do have an avenue to success there, to be completely honest with you. And at the end of the day, like, now they're getting all the, here's the thing. When we've covered this for a long time, WAGMI, but now Becker's on it. So now all the freaking people on YouTube are going to start looking at WAGMI and start shilling it. Like, Becker's like the trendsetter when he gets on a token that maybe not a lot of people have. Like, I don't know. I don't see it slowing down the momentum, to be completely honest with you. But, you know, I think, I don't know. We'll see. I just kind of see Becker as the token amplifier. He talks about something, and then a lot of other YouTubers will start to talk about it. But the OGs know we were on WAGMI literally like at the bottoms. DCA, Myria, Winner, and Shrap, a good play. Yeah, I think Myria didn't take that too much of a dip here. So, you know, I do think it's a good buy for sure, Abdullah. But at this moment, I think Winner and Shrap are the two plays. I saw someone ask, why am I so bullish on, someone said, why am I so bullish on Shrapnel? Because Shrapnel, like, their team is absolutely top notch. The game is about to come out. You know, the game is in early access later this month. We're going to be able to hop in and give it a shot. It'll be on Epic Games. And like, I just think when you look at the catalysts, we saw what Big Time did. It pumped, it consolidated, and then it absolutely ripped. It 3x'd in literally like 2 days. And with no unlocks until April. And as Bryce said, they're everywhere. They have great marketing. It's a no-brainer in my opinion. Do I believe in infrastructure more than games? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I rather bet on studios, the blockchains, the infrastructure than singular games. But here's the thing is, if you want bigger gains, for the most part, you're probably going to get them out of small cap games that get sentiment and run. Like, you might get more X's in a small cap game than an infrastructure, but it varies. In the game, what is the best time to get in the game for altcoins? Would I wait for Bitcoin to dip more? Sport betting, it depends on like where you're at in your positions in your portfolio. Like, if you are completely sidelined and have no altcoins, I think, you know, go around, look at what's dipped, do your research, and maybe look at some stuff you could DCA at that point in time. Loading up on Vera and Beam. Yeah, Beam's 2x'd in like a couple weeks, so be careful there. I think Beam's got a very bright future, but it has recently ran. I like the veracity accumulation, and I think it'll come around. Domi is in my buy zone. Yeah, Domi's solid. It did rip recently as well, so that's tough to justify, but the market cap is still super small. If you're looking into the next cycle, it's definitely still cheap. You all just buy Oasis, far better than Myria, Gala, or other. Yeah, so Jack, I just think I think Oasis needs to do a better job of just getting in front of Web3 gaming, like the scene. Like, Oasis is pretty low key at the moment in time. No one really talks about it. Thoughts on My Pet Hooligan? I'm excited for the Carrot token. They're also one of my favorite teams in the space. Just seeing what they've built in the past and what they've done with MPH, I'm really excited to see the full product. What are my top 5 infrastructure plays? Very tough question. I like Naka. I like Games for a Living. I like GameSwift. I like, I like Playable Games. I like Myria. Like, those are 5 lower cap. Like, lower market cap than like a Gala, for example, that I would maybe take a look at. Those are in no particular order. There's just 5 right off the top of my head. Remark thoughts. I'm losing conviction in Remark, but I think it'll come back around and people will take a look back at it. Updates on Echelon Prime. Echelon Prime's been holding up well during this dip, actually. Let me refresh this. Yeah. 24 hours. Let's find Echelon Prime. Yeah, it's still hanging around $8. Like it's been strong in this market. So that's a really good sign. WAGMI gonna make it. I do think it will. High Hustle, if you had to pick one to accumulate, GAFI, Game, or GMEE, I would look at Game or GMEE, but the problem is they've both pumped tremendously, but they are both low market cap. That's the tough part, guys. Like right now in this market, like so much has already ripped that it's hard for me to say like, oh, buy this or buy that on some of these things. But then you look at the market cap, and I do think there's some upside potential. I would maybe look at Game or Gamey out of those. Profitable games to play like big time. There's not too many at the moment in time. I could, get back to you on that with maybe a couple lower key games that have good economies currently. But right now, big time's definitely like one of the more sustainable in-game economies currently. Waiting for the Ready Games to launch. Hopefully you get to research. Absolutely. We'll do a breakdown for Ready Games. I had it on my top 10 token generation events for 2024 this last show. Let's see here. So like people are saying, check the Honeyland dump. Like, did it really dump that bad? Like, hang on. I mean, 7% in the day is not too bad. I don't think that's anything to be concerned about, to be completely honest. None Free says, what about the Cidus Launchpad? Yeah, I mean, and my conviction has been super high on them throughout this market. They're very well funded. They've been building out. They have their browser game. They have their full-blown experience, which will be live. Like, you look at the Launchpad, they have so much liquidity, and also they have really good like connections and deal flow. I know the team personally, and I know what they're doing. I think Cidus and Senate are going to play a key part in that Launchpad. So yeah, I see some good sentiment coming out of that for sure. Gala to $1.15. If that happens, I mean, there's like, it's a small percentage chance that would happen. But at the same time, oh man, if that happened, that would be crazy. I would say probably not, though. I don't know that Gala is going to $1.15. Decimated is underrated. I like Decimated. Neil says, when Nexus launch? Nexus should be launching here in the next month and a half to the public. For the NFT holders, it'll launch here actually very, very soon. Do I think any of these won't reach price discovery in a bull? Vera, Alu, Super, and Senate. If so, why? If so, like, I think some of those have potential to break their all-time highs. If they don't, it's because of the market cap. It's the dilution. It was much different back then with smaller circulation. And now whenever these tokens go into circulation, there's so much sell pressure during those time periods that it's much harder for them to break through that barrier because the market cap has completely changed during that time period. So that would be why, 𝗍𝗕d. I'm an advocate. I think a couple of those can break all-time highs, though, personally. Andres says, just got in. What's the best dips to buy? The couple that I isolated today, I'm looking at Shrap down 25% ever since its recent high. I'm looking at Winter Protocol down 20%. People are front running a token unlock, which usually doesn't. I think that they're front running it, and I think after the token unlock, we'll actually see a nice, a nice rip upwards. Let's see. Buying more Domi. Do we expect a bigger dip on Bitcoin before the halving and then invest into altcoins? It's a good question. Like, I would not be surprised to see a downturn in the market. Like, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I don't think it's happening yet. Like, I genuinely think this run has the legs to continue. But here's the thing. You have to protect yourself both ways. So don't be overexposed. Take profits. That's why I preach during this show. And this is not the show where I'm going to force feed you a few tokens. This is more of a psychology show today. Because, like, look, we have gotten into so many positions that have 5x'd, 10x'd over this time period in just a couple of months. So right now it's like, okay, come back down to earth. Not everything is always going to pump, but here's what you need to do. You need to be smart, clear your mind of the doubt, of the worries that the market's going to keep pumping or it's going to dip. Always take profits and just protect your downside. It's that simple. Jorge says, any basketball advice? We could fine tune your jumper, Jorge, but I think you're onto something. You got a lot of aspects to your game. We just got to perfect that jump shot. What about dubs? Oh, Ahmed, I'm such a dubs bull. One of my favorite projects in the space. It combines GameFi and GambleFi. So, like, yes, absolutely. I'm very much bullish on dubs. Super Bull and Gala, your take in this pullback correction. Bull has seemingly leveled out. So it seems to be a very safe accumulation at this point in time, given the fact that it's been stable around that 6-7 range, where it's at the 0.006 or 0.007. So I think it's pretty stable there. Honestly, I know super pumped, but also I had information straight from the source. I think that once the announcements that Super's got in the tank come out publicly, you're going to be surprised at the upside that it still has left in it. Can Naka do a 10x from current price in the bull run? Ooh, that's tough. But yeah, I mean, yes, I think it can. To be fair with you, like, it would just put it at a couple $1 billion market cap. Animoca Brands is also a predominant presence in the gaming space. It seems like something to keep an eye on. Yeah, I always look at kind of what they're investing in, but that's not always a sure sign that they're that project's going to win. Thank you for all the feedback, Hustle. Any news on Shrap? Yeah, like, I mean, a lot of it I can't spill because we were asked not to, but after this week, I think that I'm definitely more bullish on Shrapnel than I was before, being with the team and just kind of hearing some of the things across what they're doing. What do you think are the possible multiples on Beam and IMX? Multi-billion-dollar project for Beam, and I think IMX can go over 10 billion market cap. So yeah, that would kind of be my projections there. Gala is like the Cardano of gaming tokens. Okay, that's like the best comment of the show so far. Yeah, like, look, Gala's a great company. Gala's doing a lot of things right, but I just feel like some of the newer incumbents are better investments, personally. That's just my opinion. Is Inspect a good buy? I think Inspect's a really cool project. It's not really getting the love across like Twitter and YouTube yet, but like I think it's a low-key sleeper. I need to take a look at the token unlocks just to make sure that it's not like dangerous with the token unlocks, because I haven't looked at the tokenomics, but it's definitely a good product. FINA review, please. That's definitely a last cycle token that I'm not touching. Okay, guys, I am going to close out the show here. And if my energy was off today, it's because we had a long weekend here. I was trying to extract a lot of different alpha from different projects out here in Miami. So if you enjoyed the show, like the video, subscribe down below. I'm going to be live basically all week here on In the Game, and we are going to absolutely keep crushing this market. I mean, people are freaking out. People are freaking out about a little bit of a dip. But then if you look at the big picture, and our bags are still sitting pretty, we got 5, 7, 10Xs, 15Xs in some of our bags still after this pullback. So don't let it shake you out. Take a little bit of profits, protect yourself, and then you can have some stable coins to deploy into the next projects that you want to get into. So I will be back. I go live typically at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So this was a little bit of a late stream. I just had some stuff to take care of after this weekend. And I've seen a few chats here. Love you, man. Best gains ever. I saw one here. I regret not watching your videos. I bought all the stuff that didn't pump. I'm big under the water from last bull market. Shrapnel's the only one I did a 2x at your recommendation. Hey, if you stick with us here, I think you're going to ride this. I think you're going to ride this market up tremendously, my friend. So stick around on In the Game, and I think we will take care of you. Gene says, what's the tournament code for Tally Up? It's Nexus LFG. Nexus LFG. There's your alpha there. $3,000 tournament on the Tally Up app. All right, guys. like the video, subscribe. I'll be back on the next show. As always, play well, my friends.